Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world. Sean Driver, the Red Horde. After the 90 minutes, we're going to have people joining us here shortly. I've got us set up on two computers because the last time it was getting a little ugly. So got Dazzle there on two locations as well. I'm going to get rid of my backup for now and punt myself out of here. Remove as a guest. That was disappointing. That one sucked. That one wasn't a lot of fun. Not much more can be said about that. Sheldon's logging in. A first half that we just really got nothing going. We didn't get a shot on target until 8 minutes into the extra time in the second half. Just a bit of a struggle the whole way through. Great save at the end. That's probably the talking point, other than the Mullen incident and what happened with that. Of course, I set everything up and then I jump off and it decides it doesn't want to work. Let me just do one more thing here. Because I have to change the background. Work on doing that. So just a frustrating event. You've got the back heel. You've got a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to grab people who are waiting, assuming that they are there to be grabbed. Just give me 1 second to click this and get the right, hopefully, part up. There we go. So I've got Sheldon that's there. I got Baz that's there. I will grab you guys and pull you forward.
How are we doing?
Myself, gentlemen, how bad did that suck?
Oh man, frustrating game.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what to take away from that one because the first half just looked like no legs, no effort. I don't know if that was your take.
That first half was pivotal, really, wasn't it? I think Doncaster had a very good game plan. The bank of four with two in front just made it difficult to penetrate. And the commentary that I was watching on iFollow rightly picked up in the second half that Wrexham's intensity was much more pressing than it was in the first half, where they were happy to have Doncaster in possession and sit off a little bit. But for me, that if there's anyone that we need to sign in the next season, in the next transfer window, it's that Adelakin.
I thought he was horrible.
He had a hell of a game.
I didn't think he did much at all. I thought that actually I was surprised Bolton came off because I thought Bolton Cleworth had him in their pocket for much of it. Their midfielders who were serving back post, that to me was where that happened. I know that people want to talk, and he did a lot, but his finish, he went full Jack Marriott or Billy Waters, and just for today wasn't able to finish. So I can't give him credit for it. In fact, it probably should have been 3-0. Well, let's call it should have been 3-1. I mean, we'll talk about the Mullen incident before we go to Sheldon for his take, and I'll let Baz respond to those 2 cents. The after 90 minutes, we want you guys to end up joining in. There is a link that's down below on the YouTube. I got to copy and paste it here. Mark Water says their left winger. He was awful. I thought the same. I was expecting more from him, but maybe that's just because of the buildup. I'll post the link to end up joining us here as we go through things. By all means, click it. Come and have a chat with us. We want to hear what your take on things was, what you saw, what you didn't see, and what questions you may potentially have. And I've got to hit pause there. So, Sheldon, while I'm doing that, why don't you share with us, what did you think of the match generally?
I'm just tired of us being a different team when we're away. It's like, why did we start this again? Just like every other away match recently. We do really well at home. We come out positive. We fight. We scrap. We look like the Wrexham that could potentially win the league. Then we go to an away match and we start off like this, letting them dictate. Our passes were horrible. You know, we just looked a completely different side. And I followed through the first half. We lost a goal, and unfortunately, then we didn't finish. Afterwards, yeah. we had a lot of chances. Even to be fair, in the first half, we did have chances, but we were back with our hoofball long balls up, and high crosses into the box. And we just didn't get on the end of any of them.
Yeah, I don't. You're exactly right. I mean, I did notice a change in intensity. I think the part that I was most concerned about and frustrated about was that first half. There was just no effort. I found it wasn't just, or are we not connecting between the midfield and the first third? Is it the first third we're not able to close? It was a thing. I just want to take a moment here. One of my regulars, I haven't talked to him on video or others. He runs the scoreboard and does that. He's been an exceptional servant, soldier, warrior, kick-ass, awesome guy. And it's the first time I'm going to actually be able to say hi. So W&G fan, Birmingham, I believe, is where you're based. How are you?
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
I've got you. We've got you good. A pleasure to actually see your face. I feel like I know you. It's been like 9 months.
I don't usually show my face that often.
So our stats guy who does the scoreboard, follows along the rest of the league. Why don't you, first off, tell everybody, because don't have this answer from you. How did you end up becoming a Wrexham fan? When did you become a Wrexham fan? What's that story? And then second, tell us about your thoughts on the game.
Well, I became a Wrexham fan pretty much from like childbirth because I came from Wrexham. I was born in Wrexham for like all my life. I was in Wrexham before the takeover, shall we say? Before the takeover. I moved away about in 2020, so I missed out on all the gold, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Easy to jump back on board, though.
When I saw them actually achieving more than what I could actually believe, I paid more attention to them again.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. It's been a pleasure to have you at least joining us and some awesome insight and just running the numbers and the stats and doing all that sort of stuff. And Ruby, with the nice to meet you. You've been amazing all year long. So what did you think of that game? Frustrating one. I'm excited to see a disappointed result, but tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, well, it wasn't ever going to be an easy one. Specifically when they're away on a weekday. It's never going to be that easy. Yeah, like it's the worst case for Wrexham matches.
I'll ask you this question, and then maybe get Baz and Sheldon to give their thoughts, and I'll give mine at the end. When comparing how you felt leading into the Mansfield match as to where you were leading into the Doncaster match, did you feel more confident or less confident in winning the Mansfield game or the Doncaster game, and why do you think that was?
Oh, I think we felt more confident winning the Mansfield game because one, we already beat them already this season, and two, we had the home advantage, which gives us a little bit more room, shall we say, for opportunities. But here we're against Doncaster. We're in a different stadium, so it's not very roomy, shall we say? Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know. I'll just let Sheldon, and I'll come back to you about W&G in a second. But Sheldon, Baz, just personally, how did you guys feel leading into this one? Were you more confident, less confident that you were on Saturday, Friday?
I've just seen Sheldon's handle there. Seldom unhappy. That's good. Start with you.
Yeah, what drives me mad is you look at the second half, and when the pressure was up, we started to get those splitting passes up the middle in between defenders. Long, tough passes, weighted nicely, and it got to the player they were aiming at. Where was that in the first half? We had that the entire game at home versus Mansfield. And the other team couldn't actually hold with that. They couldn't get in between those passes. Now, they closed us down pretty quickly, and we had some bad touches on some of them. But when we were playing like that, we looked like the better side. We looked like the Wrexham we should be. The Wrexham who is going for promotion. And this is happening so much. It's like, why did we come out different? I'm sorry, like just being away, just being at a different ground isn't enough reason for why we play completely different. We had the same starting lineup for both those matches. It doesn't make sense to me. Unless
it doesn't really help that it doesn't really help that it was like a few days apart, shall we say, which doesn't give them much room for open. How can I say it? It was like a few days. I know that
For recovery and just
recovery. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's we did get an extra game compared to the others, but I do hear what you're saying. The biggest thing for me was you think you're getting rid of the away game boogeyman, and then he just appeared and ended up grabbing us by the ankles and smashing us to the ground. And that's, Hughes got a comment here that said, Doncaster was the best opponents that they've seen in a while. Certainly different with their 3-4 young guys that they've brought over on loan from Tottenham, Lincoln City. Well, I guess 27's not young, but he was brought in. Where was the other guy from? Tottenham, Lincoln City, and Hull City. So they've recharged there, and they were youthful. But I didn't think that they played exceptionally well. I thought both teams looked like garbage for the entire first half. I don't give much to either side. Baz, why don't? Yeah, Sean, go ahead. Yeah, it was sloppy, and then there was about 3 to 4 minutes of brilliance where they ended up scoring that goal, and it was all from those sort of middle of the field crosses to the far post, and we just right over top of our defenders and able to find it. And they found success doing that. And after that, I think both teams played better in the second half. They probably could have arguably had 3 goals. We should have certainly had at least 1, if not 2. Look, cookie crumbles this way. It sucks, and it closes things off. Baz, the original question was, were you more or less confident heading into this one than Mansfield, and why?
The games that we've got upcoming, the next 4 games, including this one, I was really confident about this one. And obviously we've got Colchester, Crawley, Forest Green. I was expecting us to win them games. Seen a lot of things on Twitter today suggesting, none of them games are going to be easy, and that's been proved today. But I think when you look at some of the form that Doncaster have had recently, that's they've beaten some big scalps. The interesting fact that I've just been working all day today on putting my Mansfield vlog out, and in the 21 games, we've been talking about it for weeks. Let's grab the elephants in the room. But 21 games this season, Ollie Palmer started. I think this is the first one we've actually lost. So
I think it was 50 going back to last season too, if you wanted to get really crazy. If I have that correct. But yeah, you're bang on there.
In 22 games, 13 wins, 8 draws, and 1 loss. I didn't have it down for that today. 330 minutes per goal compared to Paul Mullin on 151. Obviously, the commentary team saying, Mullin didn't really need to touch it. I'm not convinced. I think, I haven't seen the slow-mo back. It may have been slightly going out, but really frustrating.
It was going in.
Yeah,
it was
off
the woodwork.
It was going. It was spinning as well.
Yeah, it looked like it almost about to hit the woodwork. The woodwork.
But the spin would have taken it in.
Foot just touched it in.
That was exactly as I saw it. W&G it was heading towards the wood. If it was going to hit the woodwork, it was going to be on the inside and roll in. And it doesn't matter. You don't have anybody around you for 8 to 10 players or 8 to 10 feet. You're wide open. Like you could have. I joked during the live, pulled out a curling iron or a curling broom and swept that thing into the corner to try to curl it in. And if it didn't go, just tap it across the line and hope the defenders were there. There was lots and lots and lots of time to just watch that and just see. Did he get overzealous? Maybe. Does that happen to strikers? Yes. Is it against the run of play because you expect strikers to put the ball in the back of the net? Maybe.
Was he excited about hitting 100 goals?
Getting 100 goals?
Centurion. So the first Centurion since the 1998-99 season. Do you know who the last striker that scored 100 goals for Wrexham was?
I saw it on the names, and that's going to throw me off. I'm not going to get it. I know that he'll be tied for 9th in team scoring all time, but I think
Carl Connolly. I actually thought it was Gary Bennett, but when I looked into it earlier today, it's actually Carl Connolly that got the last 100 goals. So I think that's probably on him. And to be fair, I was looking at a spell where Luke Bolton, Max Cleworth were dealing with that guy down the left side, and maybe struggled a little
Pavlak
bit, cleared the ball long, and Mullins sort of he's one of them players. Again, we've been talking about it for weeks, where he'll play out wide, he'll play off the shoulder, he'll make runs in the box, and he's so diverse. But today, he was like 20, 25 yards outside the box, helping out with defending duties, and he's an absolute. He's going to be an absolute legend by the time his Wrexham career comes to an end. Make no bones about it, but. As good as we all love him now, hopefully he's got a few seasons left in him. Disappointed in the results, but for me, we've still got 5 games left. I've seen the magic number of 13 points required. Well,
yeah, it's still 13.
Obviously, that's going to become more of a challenge now with only 5 games remaining. It means we can lose one more game.
Well, no, but that's
max.
That's max. That's max for security. Yeah. If you want to look at projected max with the loss, our point per game goes down to 1.78, which means we're projected to end up on 82 points. If we have the exact same performances we have all season, we'll end up at 82 points. If the Dons, Barrow, Crew, and Crawley all finish at the same rate, we're in. The highest points that are available for the Dons, Barrow, and Crew is 78. Sorry, MK Dons is 78. So we're still 4 points clear there. That does leave some wiggle room. And if you want to say we can get to arguably mathematically 78 points is enough. Well, that should be obtainable, but for the love of God, would 1 point, but 3 points today would have set us up in the championship run, because now the sun's not setting, but it's further out into the distance as being achievable here. But with 3 points today, 10 on the auto, or 10 on the magic number for the auto clinch, we would have been, I think, laughing all the way through. We probably would have needed 6
done
points.
3 points today. But credit to him. I don't think there's any debates. Doncaster deserved to win today. As quick as that goal happened, they did have a couple of really, really dangerous opportunities. And for me, Alowu, number 5, he dealt really, really well with Mullin. I think Mullin had a right game today. He'll be ready for an ice bath. But and obviously, Alowu did struggle at the end of the game, I think. There was a decision to maybe pull him out. He did go off for a short, brief spell. And then in the end, they actually took, who was it, come off in the end? Was it Sterry? Oh, no, Matthew Craig come off, yeah.
I've got Stace has joined us and is sitting in the background and staring at the camera, so I assume she's going to go. And I left her cooking for too long a couple of weeks ago, so I don't want to leave her there for too long. And so, Stace, I'm bringing you in. How are you?
Not in a good mood.
That's what I figured.
I'm in my pajamas, but I don't care.
If you want to, you can go audio only. If people I know, I don't mind if that happens. I'm assuming were you able to watch that one from home?
Yeah, it's too far for me to go, and I've got a new job as well, so I couldn't get today off anyway. And
so why don't you just do the rundown? And hey, I don't think I asked you this when you came on before. If you did come on here, like it would have been a while ago. But tell everybody who doesn't know who you are. I mean, most if you're on Twitter, you run some spaces and you do things. But tell us when and how are you a Wrexham fan? How are you associated with the club? You kind of do a whole bunch of stuff, and I think people know who you're connected with. But why don't you tell your Wrexham story before you tell us your thoughts?
I'm just Stace. No one special. It's Caleb that's a little celebrity, my son. It's not me. My dad's from Wrexham. All my family are from Wrexham. Both my boys were born in Wrexham, my 2 sons. I wasn't because I'm adopted. But I was adopted as a baby, so I'm from Wrexham.
If being born from Wrexham is the qualifier to being a Wrexham fan, then there's a whole bunch of us that are screwed.
No, yeah. It just runs through my veins. My dad used to take me as a little girl to some of the games as well, because I used to play football quite a lot, and I was proper into football as a little girl as well. So it's just, you're just stuck with me. Sorry.
No, hey, I appreciate you anyway.
Here's a question for you. What do you reckon of Mike Starkey's comments that we had less shots taken than a horny college kid?
He's not fucking wrong. He's not wrong. That was just dreadful. Yeah. Like, it just did not play as a team at all. It was all individual plays. And why did Mullin touch that ball? Because it would have been a goal if he didn't touch it. That made me so angry.
He wants
Not
to
to
become
lie.
a centurion, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he wanted to get his 100th goal, didn't he? So he touched it, but
I
if
don't
he
think
didn't,
I don't
it
think
would
he
have
was.
gone in.
I don't think he was thinking it. Yeah, I don't think he was thinking it right then. That I'm going to go for my
Instinctive,
100th. I think part of it was instinctive, but I would also expect a striker to have the wherewithal to say, "There's nobody within 8 feet around from me after that back heel by O'Connell, who I thought was Fletcher. I was mistaken." Have I been a quality striker? No, but it's sort of what I would expect. And somebody can come in and tell me you're wrong. Stacey, if you missed it, Ruby says down below, "Congrats on your new job."
Nice.
But why don't we take it? Other than it being absolute shite, was there anything that we can take from it? Was there something that you thought was exceptionally off-putting?
We were just all shit. I don't think any of them played very well, to be honest. Not to their standards, anyway. I think their wingers did a really good job at keeping McLean and Bolton at bay. I don't think Bolton could have done anything different to play better for himself. He just owned him. There's nothing he could have done about it. And
How
McLean
surprised were
was
you to
kept
see
at
Barney
bay.
coming on? How surprised were you to
Half
see
time.
Barney coming on at half time? That shocked me, to be honest.
When's the last time Parky did that? Because I was trying to think. Because I was like, is that Barney?
Does anybody around the table remember it happening this season? Because I don't.
I don't.
It has been a while, hasn't it? It has really been a while since Parkinson actually did from a second half beginners substitutions.
Yeah, I think the 60th minute was the earliest I recall. Other than there was one for a potential injury, if I'm remembering correct. But strategically, and I didn't think that Bolton was that bad, but I also think it was just something had to change. Something had to change from that first half.
He was owned. I know
just think
that Winger's one of the quicker ones in League Two as well. You think Bolton's quick? I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Adlakin and Molyneux as well. He put a lot of crosses in. That Molyneux, he was quite dangerous, whipping a couple of crosses in that just we felt lucky with. I think on another game we could have been 2 or 3-0 down at some point, sort of 2/3 in.
I just don't think our midfield played that well either. And as a whole, Mullin and Ollie, whoever Fletch, they're just not going to get a sniff if the rest of the team are not playing well.
Yeah, no.
Again, we just bypassed the midfield for the first half.
It was just like spaceships, as I said. Like, let's hit a spaceship. See how many points we can get from that.
Yeah, I was trying to go through it. We had the Lee Sky ball early in the first half, and I think that was probably the best chance that we had that entire first half. What about that? We haven't talked about this, and I've got Josh waiting as well. That save at the end of the game from the Fletcher header down, that the mitt on the right. Like, to me, I'm trying to think save of the year so far from the games that I've actually watched. And that one was tricky enough to be able to get down low and over to the right on an extent to keep that mid on it. And it was with enough pace that he had to hold the fort right on the line. I thought it was there. Danny, absolutely. We will take Donny fans. I can't say anything bad about Doncaster, or my wife will end up murdering me because she's from there.
Danny, because you're just coming in to wind us all up. I know, Danny.
Oh, do you know Danny?
Piss off, Danny.
Okay, then if that's the case.
Congratulations on your win, but fuck off.
Hey, make no bones about it. The first 10, 11 minutes, I mean, I had a bit of a technical glitch for 1 or 2 minutes in, but for what I saw, the first 10, 11 minutes, it was all Doncaster, setting the tone. Owen O'Connell made an absolutely tremendous block, sort of like 6 minutes in against Biamu, the lone striker. And he's only recently come back in the team, and ironically the guy Joe Ironside, who replaced him on around 62 minutes in the last game Doncaster had, it was the other way around. It was a bit of a role reversal, so Biamu come on for Ironside. Now I didn't realise until I was listening to the commentary that Ironside used to be Paul Mullin's strike partner at Cambridge, so
wow,
interesting, that one.
He did, yeah. He knew exactly what to do with him.
I'm just going to stop here. Danny says he's going to give an honest assessment. I want to be able to do that. It's easy enough for me to flip a
get him
button.
in.
So I'm all for it if somebody wants to go. Josh is also there looking to come in. We're allowed a maximum of 10 to come in. And I'm loving the fact that this is the first time we're actually potentially pushing the limits on this thing. So anyway, the link is there, Danny. If you can't copy and paste that one in, then that's also on Twitter. You can go to my at the Red Horde. I imagine that the local pundit. I imagine Baz has it up there. So go ahead and do that. What did we want to talk about as far as the changeover? I don't remember, and maybe this is why we need Donnie assessment. Do we give two shits about how many people they brought in on loan and the strategy that they've had? Because it seems they've turned the corner, at least for this season. If they're able to, do we care? Do we give two shits about the Rovers?
You should. With your in-laws from there.
No, I only have to care about Doncaster. I can't slag Doncaster. I can slag the Rovers.
Okay. Sorry.
Nobody wants to talk about it. So let's go ahead.
I just no, I just want to see us playing as if it doesn't matter what team it is. We are the better team, and we're going to beat you. Positive attacking football. We're at the end of the season. We want to be winning every single match. Now, if we're playing for the win and we end up losing, that's okay. If we end up drawing, that's okay. But I don't want to see this negative football. I don't want to see this type of style. We should be good enough to go out against anybody. We just did it versus Mansfield, #1 in the league. There is no excuse for not doing it against everybody. Someone can always catch us on a counter. Some team can always play really well or have excellent defense. Balls don't fall for us and we lose a match. That's fine. But this is not the way I want to lose matches.
Do we think maybe that the pitch condition? I mean, I haven't seen too much about the pitch conditions. I know. I mean, obviously, Mansfield yesterday against Accrington called the game off. I'd seen Sean had a bit of a rant on Twitter about that.
I made a whole video about it.
Josh mentioned earlier when I joined in a local pundits pre-match review, saying that they've been rescheduled for the 16th now. So I've seen it in the past where it's been a strategic postponement. Maybe they paid the ref to see how other results go, but I don't think so. But I did hear that the pitch conditions have been raining for, I think, 20 minutes in. Quite a significant downpour. For anyone that was there wants to give us their view on how they felt the pitch conditions went. Again, typically Parky does tend to play the long ball when it comes to shit pitch conditions, so maybe that played a factor in not playing as good as we did against Mansfield, where the sun was shining.
I could actually say is the only EFL stadium I've been to, and on a couple of occasions, is I always was relatively impressed with. The Keep Moat's a new stadium. They've got good conditions there. It can get a little sodden, sure, but the pitch conditions weren't an issue for this one. This is, as Josh just said, it's on us.
Yeah,
it's on us.
Look, that's just an excuse at the end of the day. We made the passes on the ground in the second half. It was raining the whole match. Surely the ground was wet the entire match, and in theory, it should be getting worse and worse as the match goes on, as it gets destroyed by people running up and down on it. So, now, not from you. I'm just tired of people using that again and again. Oh, bad pitches. Well, it's the same for everybody. Okay, maybe they're slightly more used to it, but is that the excuse Parky's using? Oh, we have to do long ball because the pitch is bad.
Emma's got the answer for that. She says Parky's going to blame the wind.
Yeah, did you not see Parky? He was farting the whole time.
He was farting the whole time?
Yeah, farting.
No, I missed all that. The only time that I saw Parky, he just looked dead. He looked like they showed him in the first half as I was sitting there going, we've got no fire in the belly. Why do we have no fire in the belly? Sheldon's been calling it positive football. There was even some lazy chases of the ball that I was just like, the legs just aren't into this one. And you look over to Parky and he's sitting there just thumped, which is the least amount of emotion I've ever seen him show on the sideline. It could have just been coincidence and happened to be grabbed, but I was like, well, that just sums up the entirety of the game. Is they just showed up thinking they were going to walk out with 3 points today, and they got a shock. So
thing is, I think as well we had about 2 or 3 free kicks from about 35 yards out. Tom O'Connor and Elliot Lee taking them away. they fell to either Will Boyle on the back post, nudge forward to Palmer, who put it wide, didn't get a clean connection with it. There was another instance where the ball came into Palmer and he put it wide again. And it's just so frustrating because you'd have expected that little bit extra quality. And I'm going to get my bingo card out now, and I reckon I haven't seen the post-match response from Parkinson yet, but I would imagine there'll be lack of quality in there somewhere. So
I think it literally comes down to Doncaster outplayed us. As simple as that. You
They
can't
deserve
I don't
the
think.
3
I don't
points,
think.
isn't
I
it,
don't think
Wrexham?
they did.
They played
They deserved the
very
3 points.
well.
Yeah,
They did play very well. That their possession-based football in that game alone was far superior than ours.
I'm going to just grab Josh, who's over here, and then we're going to be close to maxing up who's all live in here. And I want to give W and G an opportunity to, because you started, and then we'll move you on, and then we'll forget somebody else.
Yeah.
We'll look to do everything. So W and G, again, thank you for everything you do. Absolutely, like from the bottom of the old ticker here.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love doing the updating on the scores and all that. Keeps me occupied every week and all that. Yeah, I just keep on up to date with all the leagues and all that in the English Football League.
Yeah, it's awesome having you. I appreciate it, and we'll chat, I'm sure. And then over the summer, I do want to chat with you about how to figure out maybe an easier way to do it, a better way to do it. We'll chat. So much thanks, W&G. Often he runs the scoreboard over at the Red Horde, and we're going to let him go, and we're going to bring in Josh from the local pundit. Thank you. There we go, and we'll get Josh's take. What up,
Back
man?
from Delaware.
Yes, same Josh. I'm sick of hearing your voice. Only joking. Love you, really.
Oh my god!
Am I losing him, or is it just me?
You're probably losing me. My internet's
It's
been
Josh's
crap.
internet. It's shit.
You think it's just Josh?
Yeah.
It looks like you're
Yeah.
pixelated, and it's to the point that I can't even guesstimate what you were saying because I'm only getting every second, third word.
My
Los Angeles on 3G. It's almost as good as Wrexham.
Yeah, can't slag the race course anymore, can we? With the loss of internet.
right now.
We'll do that. And I see Matt's there if he's going to end up joining in as well. I'll just set you to black, and Stacey's gone
Matt's
and
just
taken a
thrown a
break.
comment in about Elliot Lee.
I'm still here.
Doesn't want to see him taking free kicks or set pieces anymore. Tom O'Connor's the man, isn't he? When he's starting. What did we think about the little nudge to Paul Mullin off the free kick about 20 yards out?
I had to do it.
Looked like they'd practiced it twice all year.
That's true, but they also had to do it. I mean, it's one of those ones, and John and I were talking, one of the guys that watches a lot on our, or not John, was Andrew, watches a lot on our watch parties, and he was saying to me, because he didn't have his eyes on, is it too close? And when you're just like, you're what, a yard away from the 18-yard box, I don't know what you do when you've got that many bodies in front of you. You've got to free the ball up somewhere. So it's either you're looking for a head or you're freeing it clear like they tried. It didn't work. But it had to be done.
Yeah, we've seen Tom O'Connor score them, and to be fair, there was a bit of a gap between the 5 bodies and then the huddle of other players, but didn't come off on that occasion.
Yeah, not a bad idea, but it was poor execution.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, what are you going to do? Have Mullen put his foot through it? I mean, the thing for me, somebody mentioned about how the game, they think they changed when Evans came in and settled things down, and it could be. Or alternatively, it could be just that's when the push happened. I just remember Adelakun having those 62nd minute, 69th minute, having those 2 crazy opportunities that probably should have gone in. The one that missed to the right, one that missed to the left. Still shocked that those happened, but it did change. Did you guys think that Evans changed things up as far as going forward, or was that just because we were getting close to the end of it and we were moving forward and they were sitting back?
I think we increased the tempo. To be fair, when he came on,
Yeah.
who else came on at the same time?
Fletcher.
Fletcher, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
Fletcher and
you
Evans
know,
came in on the 60th.
The commentary team picked up on
Early.
the fact that Fletcher's connection with the ball just didn't. He didn't seem to have that same impact he normally has when he comes on late in the game. But a bit unfortunate, really. Another day might have worked, but I don't think it worked for him today. And to be fair to Ollie, he was on the back of a couple of headers that didn't quite come off today. But I'd like to see Ollie Palmer. Do you know what? I've realised when I was doing some research earlier, Ollie Palmer's last goal for Wrexham was actually on the 3rd of December in the FA Cup second round against wasn't Plymouth, was it? Was it Plymouth Argyle? No. Another Southern team. Anyway, whoever the hell it was. Yeah, he's not scored since 3rd of December. Obviously, his hold at play, his relationship with Mullin, it works well. Disappointing that he's let my stats down after I've done so much work today before releasing my vlog. I'm gonna have to re-edit it and everything now.
We're filling up here with people looking to join. I got Brian that's sitting there looking who wants to do audio only, so I want to grab him. And we've got somebody they just left that I didn't know I was named Bash, and maybe they got impatient, so that's fine because I don't know who they are. Oh, definitely with the question that came out, I'm not going to let Bash in.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one alone, and I'll look to remove that comment if I see it online. But I will grab Josh. Do you want to give a thumbs up if you think you're okay? Oh, I can tell from looking at the screen it doesn't look like you are because your hands just did the robot. So I'm going to grab Mr. Brian Loop, who's joined us previously, to give their thoughts. Yeah, you're in the lockdown. Brian Loop, how are you?
How are we doing?
Of course, setting fire in the chat.
We got a mute button problem issue there, Brian. It's either on your end electronically to hit the mic down below, or you're going to have to jump out. There you are. Tell us your thoughts on that one. And I think you were watching with me. Yes, you were.
Yep.
Did you have the game running, and what did you think?
Yeah, I had it running. We just didn't have control. I mean, we couldn't control the midfield, couldn't pass the ball up the field. I mean, the defense did well getting it from the back to the midfield, but once we got it to the midfield, the next play was we couldn't control it. We couldn't make the pass, whether they were good passes or bad passes. I thought Palmer was terrible in the first 30 minutes of the game. It was like he had concrete feet, couldn't control the ball, couldn't turn with it. And hats off to their defense. Their defense played really well.
And I think partly that comes down to them playing a 4-2-3-1, so they had a real crowded midfield area, which kind of maybe nullified our sort of proposition through midfield. But a similar formation to Mansfield, I think, at the racecourse the other day. So was that 4-3-1-2? I think Mansfield played the other day. But again, it's just that extra couple of players just stopped the balls through Mullin, Cannon. Obviously, Cannon had a bit of an impact, but much higher up the pitch, not so much in the middle of the park. So, yeah, some of the comments there.
That one from Kim, I think, is really good. This wasn't an overconfident Wrexham team. It was an indifferent, passive one, and that was my read watching it. It just didn't seem like they wanted it. Even on loose balls, and there was the one that really stood out to me, and that was actually the second half, was a ball that went over McLean's head, and it was questionable whether it was going to go out, and he just sort of stared up it lazily and didn't really go and get it, and then realized it was going to fall into the field of play, and all of a sudden he got on his horse, and I was like, that's not what he normally does. Usually you can rely on him, if anybody, for the work rate. Him and Mullin to be running around like bunny rabbits trying to grab a Christmas egg, and he didn't do it, and I just thought that's sort of indicative of the whole game to me. I don't know if that's. Go ahead, Stacey.
Sorry. When we were all talking, like, it's a mentality thing with our team, when we were having a bit of a blip, you can just see there's just no confidence there whatsoever. I was talking to Aaron James and his dad after the Mansfield game for quite a while, about an hour, I think, around the back. And he said in the gym of the morning of the Mansfield game, all the lads said they felt really confident that they were going to win. And they did just that. And I said to Aaron, like, I've been saying this all along, it's a mentality thing, isn't it, with the lads? Like, you can just see it recently, just seem to have lost a little bit of confidence. So that's good that they're starting to believe again and feeling confident. And he said, yeah, it's exactly that. It just lack confidence sometimes. But I think they're starting to believe in themselves again. I know it was a bad game today, but I still think we're going to do it because they're starting to believe in themselves as well.
Other teams are going to lose points as well along the way. Whilst we're looking at 13 points with 15 remaining, it's not unachievable now. I'm confident after the Mansfield game. We've still got, is it two? No, we've got three home games, 2 away.
Yeah.
Three. Yeah, Crawley, Forest Green, and Stockport home. And Crawley, next Tuesday, unfortunately, I can't get to that game. My son's having his pass-out parade, so I've had to give him tickets away. But
sorry, a pass-out parade?
Stockport. Yeah, with the Air Cadets. So
okay.
That game. So I'm not going to miss that for the world.
I was like, did he just hit legal age and he's out for drinks? Like, I was wondering what's the pass-out parade?
I don't think we'll be securing promotion by the Crawley game. I think it's going to
not now.
to Crewe or Stockport. Yeah. So, but again, everyone's taking points off everyone. So, 2-3 games in, we're going to get a clearer picture on what it's going to look like ahead of that Crewe and Stockport finale, which is going to be an absolute thriller. If anyone's got any Crewe tickets they want to give me, I'll more than happily take them off their hands. I've seen a few people on Twitter today that managed to secure some tickets, despite being in the queue 10 o'clock the other day. Couldn't quite get them. But Deandra made a great point earlier. Looking through the comments, I was just trying to find it now where it had gone. No, I can't find it. Scrolling through it on my.
I'll just run through while you're looking there. We've got, so next week it gets interesting because we've got Colchester away. Only one more away game after that, so that's, I guess, maybe potentially helpful. But as to what's going around us, Barrow has Swindon, who's really not playing for anything. The Dons have Forest Green, who are playing for their lives. Crawley Town, who's still in it, sitting in 7th. They've got Mansfield at home, so that should be an interesting to see, especially with the injuries and where Mansfield is at with stuff. And then you've got Sutton fighting for everything on the road up to see Stockport. So there's still a lot of tasty games, and now we know that on the 9th, on the Tuesday, the Dons aren't playing. But the 16th is going to have 3 games that are all relevant, which will sell this. The local pundit and I, Sheldon, probably running, somebody will be running another watch party there. I've covered up Brian's face here with the chat. Did you find that comment from Deandra Baz?
I found one that said she's just going to go drink. That wasn't the one.
As she should. I'm just.
I've got my spicy rum. I've got my spicy rum and a pint of Heineken or something.
The only thing that sucks about this is now when I go over, I'm going to end up getting chirps from everybody around town.
That was it. I found it. Right. So Deandra Alders put, is this 2024's Halifax game? Trust me when I say I was at Halifax last season. So disappointing because the sun was shining. We had loads of beers. We got there nice and early, 12 o'clock, ahead of 3 o'clock Good Friday kickoff. And do you know what? So disappointed that we lost that game. But, to this day, I still feel that had we not lost that game, we would not have been as up for the Notts County game as we did. Now, appreciating we're a game ahead of that. I just think that, with Colchester ahead of us now away, that is going to be a really difficult fixture. I've got it down as 3 points. We need to win that game now. That is a must win. Same as Crawley and Forest Green, because we do not want to be going in contending with a drop into the playoffs against Crewe and Stockport, which we know are going to be really difficult team games.
And lost and back. Colchester and everybody at the bottom, I guess, is playing much better than they have for the rest of for the entire season. Sutton's on 4 in a row. Colchester's has points in 4 in a row, and Forest Green has 6 in their last 6 out of the last 15, which isn't as great, but they were on a bit of a run before that. Comparative to how the bottom of the table's been doing, they're sort of all there. Is it enough to pull Grimsby back? I don't know. And I think Salford is too far away. So those 4 are certainly having a crack. But for Swindon, Accrington, Tranmere, Notts, Bradford City, they're all now not playing for anything. So
that's a great observation, Kim. Lots of Halifax games this season. I totally agree. Could we beat Championes again, though? We're not going to be
I think we'll be
champions.
fine.
No.
I think
I
it's
still think we're gonna
Stockport's to
finish
throw
third.
away.
It's Stockport's, yeah.
Yeah.
Mansfield, here's the question that I keep asking, and sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to chop you off. Do we think Mansfield, with their injuries, is the threat to stay in the top 3, or do we think it's Barrow or the Dons below us? I've kind of excluded Crew from that, given their run of form. But if you were to predict your 3, and we're in it, and Stockport's in it, who's the other team? Is it Mansfield, Barrow, or the Dons?
I think MK Dons edge it over
Yeah.
Barrow.
Yeah.
Having been to away games both at MK and Barrow this season, I just think MK, and that first game of the season, they were a league apart from us. We'd come up, they'd come down. For me, they've got that little bit more quality, a little bit more depth, maybe. A massive stadium, 20,000 seater stadium that they fill regularly with about 4,000 people. They deserve to be in League One, don't they?
Well,
no.
I'm going to say the horrible thing that if MK or Barrow are going up, I think we're the ones going out. So I don't think it will happen. I'm still very confident that the way the numbers are looking, that it's going to be the 3 of us.
Mhm.
But I'm starting to think that we may end up in third.
I
honestly
think
we're going to
Mansfield, though.
come third. I really
I do
we're
think
gonna come
Mansfield
third.
might drop off a bit. Sorry, Stace, go on.
You will be next time I see you. I'll punch you in the arm. No, I'm just feeling confident we're going to get automatic. I don't really care if we finish champions or not. I don't
third
care
is-
as long as we get automatics. I think we're all fine with that, and I'm pretty confident that we're gonna. I just believe in our team. I really do.
I stepped over top of Brian's toes. So Brian, why don't you go ahead there and jump in with that?
Yeah, I think we'll finish second or third, and this is my reason. There's 9 games that are key games left in the season against top 8 teams. You got Stockport has Morecambe at home. Mansfield has Crawley at home. We have Stockport and Crawley at home. Milton has Mansfield. Barrows has Mansfield. Crew has us. And then Crawley has Barrow, and Morecambe has Crew. So those 9 games, we're involved in 3 of them, 2 of which we're at home. So I think there's a lot of points out of those other 6 games that teams are going to drop points, obviously, because they got to play each other. So I think with those 6 games in the mix, plus our 2 home games, bids well for us to at least finish second or third.
I think I'm just looking at the fixtures remaining for Mansfield, actually. Now that they've got the Accrington congestion on the 16th, they've got MK Dons away on the 13th. Accrington at home on the 16th. 4 days later, they're playing Gillingham, who are up there contending for the playoffs, and Barrow. So I actually think now that they've got themselves a real congested fixture list against some decent teams. Forest Green, I forget what they are. I think they're sort of just above the relegation spots.
No, they're bottom.
Right, okay. So,
but they're playing better than they were earlier in the year.
Maybe with 5 games left, they maybe still a bit of a fight on their hands, so that could be a difficult game. And they've got Crawley, same as us, so both at home. So
I was hoping that FGR was going to be out of it by the time that we ended up coming across them, but really, I think
there will be.
Oh, do you? I don't. I think
do.
that Grimsby, Sutton, Colchester, FGR are all in the swing there.
Yeah, but if you have a look at FGR's games, their next ones
they've got the Dons and then Mansfield and then us.
Yes, so I think they might take a couple of points there. and be doing okay themselves, but it won't be enough. If you have a look at the other teams around them, they're still too far off. And, as long as they don't have disastrous runs in the next couple, it'll be too little too late by the time they get to us.
I'm going to answer Josh's and say.
I was going to say 32. Oh, sorry, Sean, go on.
Josh, 100%. It's within our hands. We're at 73 points. To get automatic promotion, the max that any team below us can get is 85. Now that sounds scary, but that's assuming that if Barrow won out all the way through, that we still have control of destiny. But if you want to look at projected stats at the end, we're projected to end at 82. And the closest to us on projection is MK Dons at 78. So arguably, we still have an extra loss compared to their output going forward. I don't want to test the theory, but we control our destiny here. And that's the good news if we're looking for good news to leave what was a very crappy day. So
we've only got 2 more away games to worry about. And to be fair, that I think when Stockport come, I still really, really hold out that the last game of the season, 27th of April, 3:00 kickoff, where it comes down to whoever wins that game, Wrexham v Stockport at the racecourse, they're going to win the championship of EFL 2.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's happening.
It's not going to happen.
I can't see it now. 4 points ahead with a game in hand.
Yeah. We need Notts County to do us a favour now.
Well, you need more than Notts. You need Sutton,
Morecambe,
one of Sutton or Colchester to do it, and to be somewhat helpful. Stockport has only 2 at home and 4 on the road. But you need Sutton and Colchester to do a hand, or Morecambe to go in and do something. There's just too many variables here that I can't. Their projected max is 88. That's our max. You know what I mean? They're going to have to hit a bad run of form, and we're going to have to basically crush the hell out of it. The championship is lost on me. It's not even a focus anymore. It's just win the goddamn game in front of you.
Yeah, I think realistically now, Crew have probably dropped out of the contention for the top 3. It's totally MK or Barrow that we one eye on their results now. But yeah, I think if anyone's going to sneak in, it'll be MK, and if anyone's going to drop out, I'm hoping it'll be Mansfield rather than Wrexham. I don't fancy ourselves in the playoffs. I mean, we've got the depth, we've got the quality. You look at the teams in and around there: Gillingham, Morecambe, Crawley, Crewe, Barrow. We could beat any of them. But I've had too many years of disappointment following Wrexham in the playoffs. Certainly in the National League. Don't fancy it this year. I want to go straight up. It's
different psychologically when you're the team falling down into it than one of the teams who's earned their spot by winning into it, right?
Totally,
so,
An interesting fact that come to me earlier though, where, let's assume, right, we get promotion whether automatic or through the playoffs. So EFL 1, there's only 2 automatic spots, and somebody asked the question, would you fancy a year of consolidation? For me, no. I'd be aiming for 6th position, getting the playoffs next year by all accounts. I'm not worried about the playoffs next year. That'll be fine, And I think Stace commented on Twitter earlier that it's going to be a complete team overhaul. I think there's a lot of players we'll see leaving. We need to invest heavily and bring some good quality in. But I know obviously we've still got 5 games to worry about this season before we're talking EFL 1, and there's been loads of chat on Twitter about the arrogance of these Wrexham fans assuming they're going to get promoted. Fucking right. Well,
what are you supposed to say? What are you supposed to? I'll admit, I want to get promoted next year and go to the championship and spend 1 year and make it to the Premier League. I'm also a realist, and I don't smoke a lot of grass. But
are you sure?
I probably should. Well, it's legal here, so it's not even dangerous. Oh yeah, 100%. I can go to a government store and get like real THC that's government issued.
Wow, my mind is blown.
Yeah, just right next to the liquor store. You just walk over and buy whatever weed you want. So. So I could certainly go ahead and do that. But why was I even saying it? And see, now I am high. Forgot entirely. I got all excited about going out and smoking a joint. I got excited about going out and smoking a joint and forgetting everything that I was talking about, everything that happened today.
I love it.
It sounds like Cryptic almost ended up a tree because his wife almost crashed the car after Mullins' non-goal.
Oh,
I love
God.
it.
Can we talk about? Well, we talked about that one. What else can we talk about here?
Not
That's
much.
actually game. Do we give two shits? Like Alec and we
93
had
minutes.
to get our
Lot
first.
of Tyler's low save against Fletcher's header.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
Playing the
Okonkwo
game.
comes up for the corner. You know, we throw the kitchen sink literally with, you know, I mean, obviously they'd had a couple of players rolling around with head injuries. They made a substitution in the end because the guy was bleeding and everyone's quite sinister thinking he's wasting time. But, you know, that was a hell of a save. But again, Arthur Okonkwo today was absolutely brilliant. You know, okay, apart from like one goal in. He had to have quick reactions on him today because I think, you know, well, I forgot the bloody guy's name now. Biamu. He had a couple of good efforts. Molyneux, you know, well, it was Owen Bailey, wasn't it, that scored the goal? And to be fair, there was no complaints for me about the goal because, you know, we just didn't deal with him, and it was quick passing. He reacted well, got to the ball first, and you know, put it past Okonkwo. But other than that, Okonkwo made probably 3 or 4 real quality saves, quick reactions, and I just hope he's critical. We've got to sign him in the summer.
It wasn't just the saves for me today. It was the one thing that I've been critical of Okonkwo with was two things: his play of the ball. He had one missed throw to McLean down the left hand side, but the issue, local pundit, near post again. But the issue that I had with him is. The issue that I've been having with him is not going out and collecting obvious ball, and I thought that today he did a good job with that. Did near post goal again, but fine, it is what it is.
I think he thought it was going wide by his reaction. He didn't. He had a chance to lay out for it, and he quite didn't do it. And it looked like he thought it was going wide when it came off the head. But you know, when
He
you're
still should
2
be
feet
trying
away
to get
from
that good. Really, even if you think it's going to go wide, I personally not I'm a goalkeeper, so what the fuck do I know? But you still try and get it, don't you? You can't just assume that it's going to go wide. So, yeah.
I'm sitting at 57th minute. I'm going to post the link if anybody else wants to join in, have a chat. Even though Brian just looks like we tried to pull you into more of this if you wanted to get into it, but join us, have a chat. I got to wrap this up early. It's still a work week for me, and I've got stuff that I'm going to have to do. So I'll probably wrap this up in 10-ish minutes, which probably means it'll be 20. But feel free to join and have a chat. Oh God, I don't even know what to say about this one. I just want to get on to the next one and get away to Colchester, take 3 points and scratch an away game off the list all in the same time, and just leave us with 4 remaining and 3 at home, and say let's get it done, and hopefully that's enough. Do we want to look forward to Colchester?
I think sure.
Stacey, go ahead.
Second from bottom, I hope so.
It's the best way to think, you know. Yeah, we did shit today, but move on to the next. We'll be fine. We'll be totally fine.
I hate to say it, Baz. Colchester hasn't lost in 4, right? I know that they're shit. I know they don't have the quality, but they're literally playing for their lives right now. You know, we've seen crazier things happen. I mean, yes, fine. It was Tranmere, Newport County. They drew Mansfield Town in Mansfield. We know that from a couple of weeks ago. And then Walsall at home. They've been on even before that, lost to Barrow, and then they had a draw. They're floating around, and don't like
7 points in 6 games.
Yeah,
they 7 points in the last 6 games.
Yeah, I'm with you. Not perfect, but for bottom of the team, they're just not going to be a romp, right?
We just need Parky to go 4-3-3 from the off, don't we? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put the defense under pressure.
Yeah, it'll be cryptic with it. The comment there, they're just going to park the bus and go. That's more Sutton. I mean, I'm trying to recall the Colchester game, but that was. Yeah, but that was more Sutton United than anybody else as far as the most obvious park the bus.
But right now, a draw suits them.
Yeah, fair.
What I would say about the build up to the goal that Doncaster had, I think there was a spell where we were put under a bit of pressure, and then around 43 minutes, Wrexham really pressed them, and we had some good, decent possession in the high area in the final third. And And in my notes, I noticed that like Cannon and Bolton were struggling. Cannon and Bolton were struggling to chase down the ball, and it ended up quick counter attack over the top. And obviously, because we're playing so high, their wide players just afforded them the opportunity to get the ball in through a quick cross, and ultimately that was our undoing tonight. A draw away with the performance that we had probably would have been a good point in the overall scheme of things. But yeah, that for me, it was just maybe a lapse of concentration for that moment. But whilst they did have a couple of really good efforts, just unfortunate that we were just undone by that moment of maybe lack of concentration. Maybe that's what it came from.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, the part that was interesting for watching Doncaster, and I don't know if this is a change in strategy with the lone players or something that they've had all year, or it's a coaching thing, but I haven't seen it much from other League Two teams, is I found teams are either direct with their feet and they try to push things through the box, or else they, like us, try and get it into the corner and then cross over and over again from just outside the 18-yard box in the corners. That's not what Donny did. And in fact, what they seemed to do a lot of, even with their short corners that they were taking, was punch it out to basically, if you were to draw a line from the 18-yard box on either side to the midfield stripe. And that's where all of their crosses were coming from. They weren't deep in the corner or up against the goal line. They were in that little soft area around there that was just looping over our defenders. And that's they had a couple of headers that were close opportunities there. They made a real mess of things for us. And so I'm interested to know if there is a Donny fan that can say that's what they've normally seen. But I thought they did a really good job there. We've got Ruby in the background. And so I'm just going to, and Brian, feel free to stay.
Yep.
I've got two more
I've
people
got to
here.
go.
You got to go. Okay. Much
Yep.
happiness. Loved having you at the game, the watch party today. And it was a pleasure to see you. And thanks for joining us on this one. It makes me happy.
Yep. Cheers, fellas.
If I can click the buttons, then I can make the changes. Ruby, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Hi,
I think we're all feeling the same way. I mean, we're in good company, but today sucks.
Yeah, it's not an uplifting outcome for sure. I need to point out a couple of things. I think that Baz will recognize my eye candy here as the jersey that I won from him, autographed by Neil Ashton. And then, of course,
love that
I
shirt.
need to debut the Racecourse Ramble mug. I know Matt's not on the stream, but he's in the chat.
Yes.
I just wanted to jump in. I know you're wrapping it up, to give a shout out to my boy Boyle. He really has worked hard incrementally to build confidence back in the fan base, for reliability, to believe in his potential to be a consistent force, and he has done that. And I really felt like the first half was the Boyle show for me. I mean, the number of times they actually said his name on the stream has probably never happened that much this season. So I was really excited for him. And I think the momentum was there. And I was just a little bit disappointed that it didn't pan out for him. Now, granted, I didn't actually expect him to make a goal today. It would have been spectacular, and I'd been happy for him. But I wonder about him watching today, if he's one of those people that when they make a mistake or, an error, or people perceive them to have mishandled something, if they have trouble recovering from that, that they become maybe more self-conscious, where some other people might psychologically be a little bit more resilient, or maybe everybody just has so much riding to be able to stay on the pitch, to be able to still play on certainly a level I can't relate to, that makes it universally challenging. But I was really, really proud and pleased with him for the beginning of the match, and wish that could have just been maintained all the way to the end for him.
Well, he did have that header. When was that? Was that
That was early.
50th minute? TOC, that's what I've got. I can't read my writing. Tom O'Connor did a thing, and then from a set piece, and Boyle had the header. That's what I've got. It was there.
Possible. Yeah, there was potential for sure. And it just seemed like he maybe started to I guess confidence is the buzzword for today to kind of, loosen the cause. But I think he's demonstrating a consistency, and I hope he gets another opportunity to show it. He didn't get a red card, we've seen worse, like it could have been worse. So I'm just hopeful that he gets another chance, and that hopefully he gets closer to fulfilling the potential that I think a lot of us have come to recognize is there.
You've just given me a flashback to that Newport game, 28 minutes in, and was banging my head. But he did get a yellow card, didn't he? He was getting substituted
right as he was living. But that was the right thing to do, because it would have been either a 2-on-2 or potentially a 3-on-2 breaking forward. And so that little, I joked on that stream, Ruby, that you weren't there, that he gave the little red slipper, Ruby slipper deal, and just clipped his heels going forward. And I actually thought it was a brilliant play to take that yellow card and just carry on.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's strategy, and I mean, just to get 2 yellows, to run that risk, or to end up with, a red either by accident and misjudgment on something or not having control, or a ref. It could be worse. We've seen it be worse.
Can I ask you the most important question that I want to, Ruby, having recently been over and all of the stuff that you experience and reading on Twitter, is if somebody was an international fan who was watching over here, who was maybe nervous, questionable, do they go over? How was the reception, just as a general? Not, you can ignore this guy. Maybe if you want me to send him off and mute him, I can.
Well, you mean as a guest, or
as a guest, as a visitor, as a tourist, going to Wrexham for the first time, because a lot of people end up getting slagged for it. But why would you go to Wrexham, Spice, blah, blah, blah. You hear all the stories. But you went over, you got a look at it, and then your number one food option. Those are the 2 things I want.
Well, the main reason I went was to meet Stace. And she was absolutely fabulous. I know that she has terrific wit and will put people in their place, but the warmth of this woman in person is just so kind. Now, I will admit she was a little shorter than I was expecting, because she's so much personality. I thought, if you keep the bobble hat on, she gets a few extra inches. So other than that, I had a terrific reception. I obviously hadn't actually met any of the people before in person, but I'd had some exchanges with Baz, of course, and Matt, and others before going. I also participated in the Dragon Chat for Women, the mental health peer support group. Yep. So I'd met a number of ladies that way, including Nick, who ended up driving me to, she's with her game too. You see her around a lot. I can never remember her last name, but long strawberry blonde, great gal. So I also don't have a lot of issues with being intimidated by going someplace on my own, because I did travel alone, but especially if it's, generally the same language. There are a lot of barriers that happen that could be more difficult when traveling. But I had a terrific reception. Everyone was warm.
You got to have a good conversations with the players, because you stood with me.
Well, I get to listen to good conversations with players.
They all came over to her.
My mind went blank.
It wasn't just a hello, nice to meet you. Proper conversations with her. She was buzzing. You should have seen her. She was melting.
She also got to meet my little Jamesy Bear, who's the star of Dazzle Publishing.
He's a
legend.
I didn't realize, Baz, people thought I was threatening to assassinate you when we had that feed, because none of them could see what was going on. And when I saw it play back, I realized, that does look weird. If I die, you die too. No, really, because we're both on the same sidewalk if the car takes us out. It was
walking across the road, doing a live stream on the post 90 minutes match, calling, walking through Wrexham, all the bars in Wrexham completely full.
Love it.
Trying to get a bite to eat, and
with your beautiful blonde son, and I know your wife, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, I hope I die if this happens, because I'm not explaining to Nia what happened to her kid when her husband was live streaming, walking down the side of the road.
What a night!
Ruby, the one, if you had to, just one thing that you ate that you're like, you have to go and get that one thing.
Chips.
But chips
No. I will
No,
not.
I've been to South Yorkshire.
that way.
I've been to Manchester. I've been to Leeds and
Yeah,
Edinburgh. Once we
I don't care.
get
I'm
to the
sure
UK,
Welsh
it's the
chips are better.
same.
No,
Welsh
no,
chips are better, really?
I'm
All
sure.
right.
I'm sure.
Not
Like
the
I
chips
would be
at
happy.
the race course, Jesse. Surely they are absolutely awful.
Yeah,
No, I
proper
didn't
chips.
have them there. No.
Proper
But
chips.
and I did miss out on the buddy van because Rachel wanted me to come back, and she said that the chips, cheese, and gravy is like the trifecta, and I have concern that it would ruin a good chip. But so
Wait.
yeah, no. Fundamentally, main thing, and I didn't expect it was the chips, but I got.
They got poutine?
See, you would think that's, but it's not. Yeah, that's where my mind went.
You went to poutine, but it's not poutine. It's like chips, cheese, and gravy, and it's something that's not poutine.
Which, you know, at the risk of, them taking like my Quebecois card, I don't care for poutine that much.
No.
But anyway, so food is great. The UK doesn't have the best reputation historically for exquisite food.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, somebody needs to put together the gastro tour of Wrexham, because there are so many places I didn't even get to go to. There are only so many meals you can have in a day, and I was even rationing,
including including a noodle bar on King Street.
So there's Matt who's running his marathon. I'm gonna put punts out there and tell everybody about what's going on. He's got his marathon coming up. When that finishes, there's your off season, Matt. Is you're putting together a gastro tour of Rex. We've put all that effort and just get rid of it in like a couple of months.
In addition to his Rex flicks, so dinner and a movie.
There you go. It's done. I do want to start to wind this down a little bit as we go through it. I appreciate first time you've been on here, and I've bumped into you on Twitter, but I'm super thankful for the pictures, even though I was hating you at the time because I was trying to live vicariously through you and couldn't. It was awesome. So thanks for joining. Feel free, final comments, and then Stace, if you wanted to give final comments, and we'll just do the runaround to wind things up and let it go. So Ruby, anything? No? Good. Stacey?
No, thanks for having me. It's been great. I always enjoy listening to your all's perspectives. And I like how dynamic it is, adjusting to who comes in or what happens in the chat. So just keep up the great work. I really enjoy it.
I appreciate it.
What I would say, Jesse, is
sorry. Subscribe to Dazzle Publishing.
Yes, that's what we are. No, that wasn't what I was going to say, but thank you for the promo. No, Nia's actually posted the Wrexham football.
Yes,
couldn't fit in your luggage today, so it's winging its way all the way to Kansas City.
I bought a football at the shop, and they're like,
along with Lewis Rees Zammit, he's Kansas new star.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Welsh rugby star.
I bought a football at the shop, you guys. I wasn't planning on it. So Friday, 15 minutes before they close, or well, no, it was Monday because I was leaving, and 5 o'clock's rolling around, and there's a football, and Matt had told me how expensive the match balls can be, and I thought, well, there's no way I can afford this ball in the shop for £100. I'm like, oh no, it's 15. I'm like, really? That's outstanding. Okay. And then, I don't have room for it in my luggage. We have a flat one. Okay. Well, flat is not like a Welsh flat. Okay. They took a couple pounds of PSI out of it, and it was still about the size of a crown. And I was like, well, I had planned to maybe mail something anyway. So I'm walking through town the night before. I'm leaving at 2 a.m. So it's 5 p.m. I don't have time to go to the post office and get a box. So then I luckily have dinner with Baz's lovely wife, Nia. And I show up and I'm like, should I? I'm already a weird American. Do I carry it like a baby? Do I wear it on my head? Like Elite? Like, here, new friend, would you please help me logistically to mail a football that I will have in Kansas because it won't fit in my luggage to put somewhere in my space to decorate it, even though I don't play, but yeah. So.
In your lady cave.
Yes,
awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And she
Love it.
today. She posted it today. I saw the package. It's on its way.
Loving the lady cave. That's brilliant.
Awesome stuff. I'm glad the ball is secure. You've got jerseys there. You've got stories to tell, and we got 5 more games to wind up the season. And I'm sure you'll be on it just like all of us. So thanks for joining. I appreciate it. You're awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Cheers. Bye. Stacey, do you want to have a final crack, a final comment, a final say?
Oh, just thanks for having me on. I
No, I
appreciate
appreciate
it. I have no doubt we're going to do it. And that's not being arrogant. Just believe. Dare to dream, as we say.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm confident still. I wanted to just not have to stress and worry about things.
I know.
I get it.
Well, it's
Wrexham don't do things easy.
No, they don't. It's the Wrexham way.
Yeah.
Keeping us on our toes. Keeping us guessing.
Sounds good.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'll chat to you all soon.
All good. Cheers,
Great to
Stacey.
see you,
Thanks so
Stace.
much. All right, as we're winding it down, do you have to run, Sheldon, or do you want to make a punt for the local pundit there?
Yeah, I'm always hanging around the local pundit, whether they want me or not. Josh is always having videos most days of the week, so come join us over there. Join us on the Discord, and I guess I'll see you at the next match, guys.
Yeah, and so that's at the local pundit. You can find on YouTube. You can find it through Twitter. He and I and maybe you or somebody. We're going to do another one of those neutral watch parties for the games that are on the 16th when Barrow plays Crawley, Mansfield plays Accrington, and Stockport plays Notts. I don't think Ivan will cover the Stockport game again, but we'll see how that all transpires. Whatever games he chooses will be the bad one. So thanks for everything, Sheldon, both on Monday and today, and for doing this as always. You're awesome. Have a good one, and we'll say goodbye. And then that leaves you, Baz, and just me. So what do you got going on with Dazzle Publishings here?
Well, I did put a preview out today of the Mansfield game, but hopefully people will watch it still. Because obviously it goes back to the 2-1 victory we had back at the racecourse earlier in the season. No, I'm hoping today to get the, well, if it's not already, my editor's been working hard this week on the Mansfield match day vlog. So we've got a really, really good edition and something to enjoy. So today, not much to sing about, but please take a watch on Dazzle Publishing on YouTube. We've also recently just opened up some exclusive memberships. There's the opportunity to give a super thanks to the editing team and myself for the hard work that goes into putting these videos together for the fan base that hasn't got the luxury of getting to the racecourse every week. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be at the Colchester game because I've been invited out. The Crawley game, I've got my son's passing out parade, but I will put the link in the chat. So feel free to join. Sean, thanks ever so much again for putting this on, because it's awesome. I don't know how long we've been on, maybe over an hour now, hour and a half, maybe close to, and it seems to be growing from week to week. We've had great questions and answers. But again, 5 massive games. I'm confident. I remain confident. Wrexham are going to get promoted. And the only final closing thing from me is, if I can just wing it out of here, just look how good that is. A signed Mickey Thomas and Steve Watkin FA Cup.
That's the Arsenal Wrexham.
Yeah,
awesome, beautiful, love it.
That's my most recent purchase for my man cave, but not as impressive as Ruby's, Jesse's, lady cave. That's what we can call it. Brilliant. Hey, thanks ever so much.
Thanks so much. That was a good one. Just to wrap up on my end here, I came up with a video regarding the Mansfield town and the pitch thing, all that sort of stuff. Feel free to go over and watch that if you want a little bit of a preview. I end up basically just saying, I think at the very least, there should be a suspended point deduction that should be given to Mansfield, and I'll hold to that. And if there's somebody from Mansfield who wants to have a crack, I don't think it's going to affect this year, to be fair. But what I do think is it sends the message that they got to fix their problem, all right, and go out of pocket to do it, because it was sort of embarrassing 90th minute, and a lot of people end up saying, oh well, they couldn't do it for other people, and they didn't know what was going to happen, and they tried their best and all that sort of stuff. Other teams around the league are getting notice out in 24 hours in advance. FGR didn't to us, but there are teams that are doing it. You've got to know what the state of your condition of the pitch is. It is what it is. It was 2 grains of rice, 6 millimeters of rain. Anyway, go and watch that if you want to. I go through the regulations, and that's what I do. Other than that, watch party going to be on Saturday regular time, Colchester, and we'll be there for all the rest of them. And I've got a whole bunch of other videos that I'm hoping to be able to get out to keep me distracted from all the anxiety as we wait to see, hopefully, for a clinching situation. Go around, for everybody that's still here, like if whoever you're watching through, and hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to them. If you're looking for everybody that's involved, and I will add that's Two Beards Wrexham, the Welsh Beast do occasionally come in here and they add the stream to their feeds as well. Feel free to go around the horn, the local Bundit, Daz Publishing, the Racecourse Ramble, who's also here just in the chat today. Welsh Beast, and who did I miss? Two Beards Wrexham. Go around to those 5 and just hit the subscribe button and just do it to help everybody out and send a little message and do your thing. Other than that, this was awesome. 344 concurrent viewers at the moment from all of the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mediums that we're streaming this to. Continuing to grow. It's interesting to follow. And yeah, we'll see you after Colchester, hopefully celebrating 3 points, hopefully with a barrel at loss, and MK Don's loss, and everybody else loses around us. Fingers crossed. It's that time of the season, squeaky bum time, and we'll see you Saturday for the rest of it. Cheers, guys.
Minimum of 13 out of 15 points. It's a big ask, but the boys can do it. Keep the faith.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think it's 13. I think we can get away with 10, but we'll figure it out. Okay, until next time. See you guys.